In a material deck where Spirit of Slime has the inherited effect of ignore all elemental requirements of basic element slimes you activate. So you can play baby red slime and baby green slime and the likes, even though you are a norm spirit. Silvie Wild's Whisperer. The next animal or beast ally you activate this turn enters the field with additional buff counter on it. You're generally going to level up and then play something like a baby silver slime or baby red slime. Just get that extra buff counter, but extra damage through, or give it that buff counter to allow it to survive through a couple attacks. Silvie with the pack. On enter, if you control an animal ally, draw a card. If you control beast ally, draw a card. These are two separate effects, even though they resolve at the same time. So effectively, if you have both an animal and a beast on the field at the same time, you'll be drawing two off of this, so replacing the two you paid to level up. Silvie Slime Sovereign. The next slime ally you activate this turn costs 2 less to activate and enters the battlefield with additional 2 buff counters on it. This is great for all your advanced element slimes. They're already powerful on their own, but getting the 2 buff counters on them as well just makes them incredibly hard to destroy. Also has the ability of ignore the elemental requirements of advanced element slimes you activate. So you're playing Storm Slime, Ethereal Slime, Lustrous Slime, and the likes without having to be those elements. So this is the main thing that just makes this deck work. Beast on Boots. Banish Beast on Boots, your champion gains Spell Shroud until end of turn. Activate this ability only if you control an animal or beast ally. So generally you can have a beast or animal, so you'll be fine. However, if they do manage to remove all the allies from your board, keep in mind you won't be able to activate this. So sometimes it may be beneficial to activate this in response to them trying to kill your last ally. Safeguard Amulet. Whenever your champion would take non-attack damage this turn, prevent 4 damage of it. Again, great against Spellslinger decks and the likes, which there is a few running around in the meta at the moment. Terraforming. Until end of turn, players can't declare attacks unless they pay 2 for each attack. Activate it only during your opponent's recollection phase. Great into attack-based decks and ally decks. Just allows you to have an extra turn, especially if you have like a massive Lustrous Slime out and you bring this out, and they're attempting to attack with all their allies just to kill the one slime. This will mean that you not only take no damage for that turn, but they most likely won't be able to kill the Lustrous Slime. Covenant Thorns. 1 cost Terra Regalia, but it costs 1 less to materialise because you are Tamer. Has ally link, so when it enters the field, it'll be linked to target ally. And if that link is broken, such as the ally being destroyed, then you'll sacrifice Covenant Thorns. If damage will be dealt to your champion, that damage is dealt to the linked ally instead. So this is great if you put it onto one of your massive allies, or if you even put it onto one of your opponent's allies. Guy's Blessing. Play with the top card of your deck revealed. You may activate animal and beast allies from the top of your deck. This is amazing in this deck because a majority of your cards are animals or beasts, so you're able to just play cards from the top of your deck. So it quite often is like you have 1 or 2 more cards in your hand than you actually do. And you may also bring this out because you are Terra, so you have the elemental bonus. And you may banish 4 animals or beast ally cards from your graveyard to activate it from its material deck. This is during your main phase. So at any point during your main phase, you can just banish 4 allies and bring this out as long as the stack is clear. Not only is that good because it's free materialization, you can look at the top of your deck, but also it puts generally 4 slime cards from your graveyard into your banishment, making your Storm Slimes incredibly strong. Horn of Beast Calling. Banish it. The next beast ally card you activate this turn costs 3 less to activate. Class bonus of draw a card. So not only are you replacing the card that you paid to bring this out, but you're also paying 3 less for any of the beasts in your deck, which all your advanced element slimes are beasts. So often you're going to be using this to bring out something like a Ethereal Storm or Lustrous Slime. You also do run a Slime King in this deck, so this can be used to play that Slime King for free, which of course would give slimes from your graveyard banished as well under it, allowing you to do some tricks with Escape to bring that out. I'll get to that later on. Stonescale Band. On enter, discard up to 3 ally cards from your hand or memory, then draw that many cards. And you may pay 2 and tap it. The next ally card you activate this turn can be activated as though it has fast activation. Often in this deck, you aren't really going to see the fast activation side of this. What it's mainly there for is not only banishing a slime to bring it out, but then you also have to discard 2 or 3 slimes from your hand into your graveyard and then replace them. And then often you can use those ones you just discarded to then bring out Guy's Blessing during your main phase. However, if you are running a version with dungeon guides or something, you can use this to just cycle away the dungeon guides or the ordinary bears or something that have no effect on the game anymore, enabling you to draw more cards. Verdant Scepter. On enter, you may banish a slime ally you control. If you do, put an amount of refinement counters on Verdant Scepter equal to the banished ally's power +1. And then you can tap this, remove a refinement counter from it, put a buff counter on each of up to 2 slime allies you control, and draw a card. A lot of the time, this will be one of the first things I banish with Ethereal Slime, as it is very much a long game type card. However, you do see the game going long and you don't need Beast on Boots. Beast on Boots is another good one to banish to Ethereal. And bringing this out, you're often probably only going to be getting rid of something like a Baby Red or something, getting 3 counters on it. However, if you're playing another Silvie and they put a Covenant Thorns on something like your Lustrous Slime, and that is, say, 5 or 6 power on it, you can often bring this out, banish that, not only removing that Covenant Thorns, but you also then got 5 or 6 activations of this, enabling you to start buffing up your other allies and drawing a bunch of cards. Moving on to the main board, we have 4 copies of Baby Silver Slime. If you've been around the game for a little bit, you may see a card called Baby Grey Slime. This is a replacement for that. Baby Grey is currently banned and was a little bit too broken because it was an immediate draw once it enters. However, this is an on-death effect that you may reveal a slime card from your hand or memory if you do draw a card. And as long as you control another slime ally, it has taunt. I still feel like this is very good, and people underestimate the fact that this has replaced Baby Grey, and a lot of people see the deck as not being as good. Although you don't get the draw immediately, enabling you to do other stuff in your turn, it is still a card that replaces itself, as well as gives you an animal for level 1 and level 2 effects. Blissful Calling. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal an animal or beast from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. In this deck, there is a lot of animals and a lot of beasts, so you're very rarely going to not hit something of this. So it's just a great way to cycle through your deck and get the cards that you want, especially late game when you don't want a lot of the lower level allies. Escape the Wreckage. Return target ally you control to your memory. If you do, draw a card to memory. Not only does this replace itself, but it also allows you to save an ally that may be getting killed on the field. However, also late game, because of this fast speed, you can just hold up something like a Slime Shield, and then if nothing happens, you can escape the wreckage on your Storm Slime, putting it back into your memory, gaining advantage, then going to your turn, and then replaying that Storm Slime for a bunch more damage. Forest Cake. This is probably, along with Baby Silver Slime, one of your optimal turn ones. Just is 2 costs on it to draw a card, and then later in the game, once you've leveled up, whenever an animal or beast ally enters the field under your control, you may sacrifice Forest Cake. If you do, put a buff counter on that ally. So quite often you can end up having 2 or 3 of these on the field and then using them to put 2 or 3 buff counters on something like a Lustrous Slime, along with the Silvie level 3 effect, which can often end up being something like a 5/9 Lustrous Slime. Limitless Slime, 3 costs 1/1. However, it is very versatile and shouldn't be underestimated, especially in the late game. It has class bonus for all its effects, and then for level 1+, it has floating memory. So not only can you have this out as a little bit of a threat that may grow in the future, but if your opponent kills it, then you're able to use it to bring something out, which not only saves the card from being banished from your memory, but also allows you to have another slime in your banishment. The level 2+ is that Limitless Slime gets +1 attack and +2 health. So if you're level 2 when you bring this out, it is a 2/3, which 3-drop 2/3, pretty standard stat line, and it's a great stat line in this game. However, the level 3 effect is what really makes it great. It has on attack, put a buff counter on it. So every turn you attack with this and they leave alive, it's getting bigger. And I have seen like 10/11s of this card before, just because opponents don't deal with it. It grows and grows and grows, and the opponent is just able to keep surviving, but they're not able to do anything about it. Ordinary Bear. So this is one of those spots in the deck that doesn't look like it fits, but I feel like it's a pretty good thing to have. It's a 3-drop 2/3, so the stat line's pretty good. Pride 2, so you do have to be level 2 in order to attack with it. However, it does have floating memory, so often when you go into level 1, playing this, getting the buff counter on it, making it a 3/4, which is fairly hard for an opponent to kill, and if they are attacking it with allies, you're generally able to retaliate to kill one of the allies anyway. So often your opponent's left with a situation of leaving a 3/4 on the board or killing it and giving you access to that floating memory. And if they leave it on the field, then you're leveling up to level 2 and you're going to draw off of the beast effect anyway. And often you may have a slime on the field as well. So if you have the slime, you're able to then draw off the animal effect as well, effectively replacing the 2 cards you paid. Baby red slime. This is a great early game play, even late game to cycle cards. It's 2-drop, 2/1. On attack, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card into your memory. If the discarded card was a fire element card, Baby Red gets +1 to any turn. A great thing to discard off this is the next card, Slime Eruption, just because Slime Eruption has floating memory, so you're not only gaining the card into memory, but you're also putting floating memory into the bin. You can also just discard something like an Ordinary Beer as well to get the float into the bin and not worry about the extra damage. And when you bring this out with Silvie level 1, you're going to be a 3/2. So effectively you're going to generally be attacking for 3 or 4 damage straight away on turn 2. Slime Eruption, as stated with Baby Red Slime, it has floating memory, so it's a great thing to discard and get into your graveyard. However, it does have the effect of you may banish any amount of Fire Element Slime allies cards and up to 2 non-Fire Element Slime ally cards from your graveyard. For each card banished this way, choose a unit and deal 1 damage to it. These are instances of 1 damage each, so something like a safeguard will prevent just all the damage. However, this is a great card in order to remove just something pesky on the field, or if your opponent plays a shield like Spell Shade Arcane, then this is a great way to pop that before the big damage from like your Storm Slime or a massive Ethereal Slime or something hits your opponent. Gather Slimes has class bonus fast activation. Keep an eye on this. It is an inherently slow card. However, once you are level 1, 2, and 3, it does have fast activation. I do catch a lot of people out when they're trying to just do nothing on their turn, and end of my turn, they'll try fast activate this while they're still in Spirit. So just keep that in mind. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Recover X, where X is the amount of slime ally cards revealed this way. Put a slime ally from among them into your hand, and the rest of them you bomb your deck in any order. A lot like Blissful Cooling, this is a great way to cycle through your deck and find the cards you want. And of course, we are playing a large number of slimes, so you're generally going to be able to find something of this. Not only that, but it's also a great way to recover a few life points. Baby Green Slime. Same as Gather Slime, it has fast activation as a class bonus, so you got to make sure you're level 1, 2, or 3 in order to play it. It is a 2-drop 1/1, however the strength of this card is in its on-air ability of suppress target item or weapon. So often you play Forest Cake turn 1, and then you follow up by playing this, bouncing the Forest Cake, into your turn, it enters the game, draw another card. So it becomes a pseudo on-end to draw a card effectively, or on-end to as another Forest Cake. You're also able to use this to suppress your opponent's items and weapons, enabling you to do some tricky little things where if your opponent has a weapon on the field that they're planning on killing you with, playing this allows you to bounce it, stopping them from being able to use it. Green Slime. This is one of those little flex spots in the deck where a lot of the time people play different beasts or maybe a red slime or something along those lines. However, I feel like in this deck, because you want to keep your own allies alive, green slime is a great choice. It is Pride 3, so you have to be level 3 in order to attack with it. However, it has on-end to put 2 buff counters on it, and then it has a class bonus effect of on leap. Put the buff counters that were on green slime on target ally you control. So a lot of the time, if you put a couple of Forest Cakes on this, or you have to play this for some reason with level 3's effect, ends up as a 4/5. When it does eventually die, because your opponent's going to have to get rid of it if it's that big, hopefully you have another ally on the field and you're able to put those buff counters onto that ally. However, you can also, in response to the on-leave effect, activate something like a baby green slime, and when that enters, it will get those buff counters put onto it. Slime Shield. 2-drop fast activation card that costs 1 less to activate if you are level 2+ and have class bonus, which of course in this deck we do. Prevent the next 3 damage to be dealt to target unit's turn. If that unit is a slime ally, put a buff counter on it. So if you're using this on something like a lustrous slime, it enables you to not only prevent 3 damage from it, but also put a extra buff counter on it, making it stronger for future turns. I would love to play 3 or 4 of this in this deck. If you have bought the Slime Recollection, I'd recommend going probably up to 3 in main board, 1 sideboard, or even possibly 4 main board, and then cutting down on the green slimes. However, because of the budget restraints with this, this is one of the most expensive cards in the deck, surprisingly. So we couldn't fit 3 or 4 in this deck. Storm Slime. It's probably the best card in the deck. It is your main way of killing your opponents without having to attack them. It has Pride 3, so you have to be level 3 to attack, but in this deck you're not going to be playing this until you're level 3. Just keep in mind there is a couple ways for your opponents to get around and give you negative levels, so you may want to look at playing a couple cards that can help you gain level, or playing something like a Beastborn Heirs. That's not in this deck, however it is a possible option to play. On enter, as a spell, deal damage to target unit equal to the number of slime cards in your banishment. Throughout the game, you can be, of course, banishing stuff to level up, banishing stuff with slime eruptions, or to bring out Guy's Blessing. So often you can be doing 10, 11 damage with this when it enters. And if you're able to use something like Escape the Wreckage to then bring this back and then play it again, that's just repeatable mass damage. It also has the effect of, on death, you may banish up to 2 cards at random from your memory. If you do, draw 2 cards. So often you'll pay the 2 for this with 2 cards you don't care about. Have it enter, deal a bunch of damage, attack your opponent for a bunch, and then when they go to kill it on your turn, or do something on your turn that enables it to die, you'll often be able to then draw a couple more cards. Twilight Slime. A lot of people play Twilight in the sideboard. I feel that it's decent enough to be in the main board. The only effect on it is that your champion and other slime allies you control have Spell Shield. In a meta where, at the moment, I know there's a lot of Spell Slinger decks of Merlin and such being around, so this enables you to just protect everything from those. And if you somehow manage to get both copies on the field at once, because they aren't unique, it is a hard lock of your opponent can't target anything on your field effectively with a spell, unless they attack and remove one of these. So if you're able to get 2 of these on with a massive Lustrous Slime, often your opponent can be in a really tough spot. Ethereal Slime. 2-drop, 2-2. There's Pride 3 as well, but it also has Stealth and True Sight. So your opponent can only attack it if it has True Sight, and it is also able to attack other stealth units. On enter, you may banish a Tamer card from your material deck. If you do, draw a card and put a buff counter on it. So often you'll be playing this, not only drawing a card to replace it, but you'll also be getting a buff counter on it, so it'll become a 3-3. It does have a level 5 effect of prevent all non-combat damage to be dealt to it. However, in this deck, especially this version of this deck, we're not going to be getting to level 5. There are versions where you run Slime's Blessing and such, enabling you to get level counters on you, as well as the Heirs, getting to level 5 pretty easily. However, we aren't going to be going that route with this. Lustrous Slime. This is your main ally for against ally-based decks. Has Pride 5, so you're never going to be attacking with this in this deck. However, its main thing we're here for is Taunt. So it is a 1-5 inherently for 2. However, it has its on enter of reveal any amount of slime allies from your memory. For each card revealed this way, put a buff counter on it. On death, recover X, where X is the amount of buff counters that were on it. Often, this is going to be a good play when you do level to level 3 and just playing it for free using the ability, making it a 3-7. However, you can do a couple other things during your turn and then play this out, enabling you to not only get the buff counters from level 3, but also then hopefully revealing 2 or 3, 4 maybe, depending on how long the game's gone. Slimes from your memory, putting buff counters on from those, and then maybe even a couple Forest Cakes. I have seen these, of course, up to being about a 6-10, but it can be a lot stronger as well. Guy's Songbird. This is one of those things that some people don't run it, some people do run it. I think it's great. You could go up to 4 of them in the deck just to make the deck even more consistent. However, you are getting into a lot of advanced element stuff in the deck then. It has the on-enter effect of reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a beast ally card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom. It's a 1-drop, 1-2. Late game, when you play this, you're effectively cycling the top of your deck away, getting rid of all the cards that aren't as impactful anymore, and you're only going to be targeting your Storm and your Ethereal Slimes and such. You've got to be remembering that it does hit Ordinary Bear, and it will hit Green Slime, so it's not always going to be the most efficient in this version of the deck, hence why we only run 2. Slime King, you either hate or love this card. It has the additional cost to activate it of banish 3 slime ally cards with different elements from your graveyard. So a lot of the time you may not have those different elements, or just the slimes in your graveyard aren't that great anyway. However, this is a 4-5 with Taunt for 3. It has Pride 4, so you're not going to be attacking with this ever. It's mainly brought out as something to just protect yourself from taking some damage. But on top of that, it has the on leave of you may put any number of slime ally cards banished by Slime King onto the field under your control. So if you are able to get like a Storm Slime, Ethereal Slime, and Lustrous Slime under it, then when they do remove it, because they're going to have to, you then get all three of those on the field. So you're not only getting the Storm Slime effect of extra damage, but you're also getting, of course, the draw off Ethereal, and then another Taunter off a Lustrous. It is important to remember, it's an on leave, not one on death. So if your opponent Dream Fairies it, if they Zephyr, if they do anything to it, you're going to get those back. There is no way for them to get around those cards not coming back on the field at this point. In the sideboard, we have Fire Resistance Bubble, Water Resistance Bubble, and Wind Resistance Bubble. We are very tight on budget on this deck, so I just decided these are probably a good option to be in the sideboard, so you would have draw power against any deck you end up coming against, except for Slimes, of course. However, this could be anything from Censor to Nullify Mirror to just different regalia that you think might help. Verdant Trinket as well is another great option. Resolute Stand. If target unit will be dealt attack damage this turn, prevent 3 of that damage. If you come in against allies, this is a great card to bring in. Not only can you use it on yourself to prevent attack damage from them, if you have a Lustrous Slime out as well, you can also use it on your Lustrous Slime so they're not able to remove it, giving you another extra turn with it on the field. Scavenging Raccoon. 2-drop 1/1 that has on enter banish up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. This is mainly brought in against decks that run a lot of floating memory, or if you're playing into some of the new Royal decks that are out there at the moment. Because you do actually target the cards that you banish, you get to choose which 2 you want to get rid of. So it is targeted removal, unlike something like Cleansing Reunion or those type of cards that are run in win decks. This just gives you that specific removal for the cards you want to get rid of. Along with that, it is an animal as well, so you can get the buff counter from level 1 Silvie, or you can just have it on the field. So if you level up to level 2, it being a 1/1, your opponent might not care about it as much, so they might not kill it, enabling you to actually draw a card off the level 2 effect. As mentioned in the Merlin video, the giveaway winner still hasn't come forward. It is now the 6th of the 9th, so the giveaway is technically up tomorrow. However, I've got to get this video up and uploaded, and they've had enough time, so we're going to go ahead and rerun the giveaway winner. I am a firm believer of giving back to the people who actually watch and support the channel, hence why I'm not going to go chasing people who haven't actually bothered to come back to the channel and watch the videos to find out that they've won. Now I'll get the link and copy and paste this in. Fetch my data. As mentioned, I'm not going to be chasing the winner, so make sure to comment down below and let me know that you've seen this, and then I'll get in contact then. Good luck. Well done, Stendo NZ. Make sure to comment down below and let me know you've seen this. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my other content. Until next time, stay safe.